imagine you and your friends all get together and are like, you know what, let's have a fun, friendly race. And then all of a sudden, when you're lined up, getting ready to go, Usain Bolt shows up and is just like, hey guys, and absolutely obliterates the rest of y'all. Well, that's what happened to me in round 1 of Houston. So it's the beginning of the day for Houston Regional Championship, and I'm sitting there with my friend Raymond. I'm like, okay, first rounds are up. Did you get anyone? Did I get anyone? And we're comparing, we're seeing. I'm just like, you know what? After I round 1 Brendan Zhang and round 2 Dolly C in Seattle, I would like just a nice, easy, like, beginning of the day, good first round. Raymond looked at his. He's like, nope, I didn't get anyone crazy. I look at mine. I go, Giovanni Cice. Sorry if I mispronounced that, by the way. Man, I feel like I recognize this name. I show my friend Raymond. He goes, are you shitting me? And I'm like, what? And he goes, Nolan, that's the world champion. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I'm simply going to win, and imagine how insufferable I'll be when I win. I'll probably make a video off of it. And so yeah. Here's the team that I have, and then I'm gonna show the team that he was using, and then I'll get into the battle. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned. So in Seattle, I brought a more, if you haven't seen the video, go watch it. It's probably my best video. Make sure you like and subscribe, by the way. I'm very close to 300 subscribers, and I really want to get up there. But anyway, enough self-promotion. In Seattle, I used a more, like, defensive, slower-paced team, and I was kind of tired. That's not normally my speed. My speed is normally just do a lot of damage. I wouldn't necessarily say hyper offense is what I use, but I wanted just a nice change of pace, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a more hyper offense type of team. And so, as you can see, with my first Pokemon, I chose Focus Sash, Chien Pao, just the average standard Chien Pao set of Terra Ghost, Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword, Protect. And the whole reason I did this Pokemon was because I also wanted to use another Pokemon, Entei, Choice Band Entei. Choice Band Entei just absolutely can obliterate your opponent's Pokemon, especially if they're not ready for it. It's Terra Normal, because Terra Normal, you get the stab boost for your extreme speeds. You also have Sacred Fire, Stomping Tantrum for Incineroar, or for, if you go against Trick Room for Rigorath, a Terra Fire. Stomping Tantrum can kill it if you pair it with Tornadus would be the lead that I would lead, and Bleak Wind plus Stomping Tantrum would kill the Terra Fire for Rigorath, or regular for Rigorath. If it doesn't have a defensive Terra type, you could just simply click Flare Blitz into it, and Flare Blitz has a chance to KO it, but if you pair it with our previous Pokemon, Chien Pao with Sacred Sword, which lowers the defensive stat of all the Pokemon on the other side of the field, or on all sides of the field, it absolutely just obliterates a Rigorath. So Entei, I think it was my most led Pokemon throughout the entire Houston regional tournament. Anyway, the next Pokemon that we have is Choice Scarf Urshifu. I really love Urshifu. My dad refers to it. He went to both Seattle and Houston with me, and in Seattle, he's like, "Man, you should add that Karate Kick guy to your team. He's pretty good." And it took me forever to figure out until we walked up to the stream match in one of the rounds and be like, "Oh my gosh, the Karate Kick guy is Urshifu Rapid Strike." He goes, "Yeah, he just kills all the opponents." So I was like, yes, no, he's pretty good. So his ability lets it hit, its Unseen Fist lets it hit through Protect. You have Choice Scarf on it. You outspeed opposing Fluttermane that are not Booster Energy speed. Chien Pao's, all Ogerpons as well. You throw on Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and U-Turn. U-Turn for a pivot move. But as you can see, we have 3 physically offensive Mons to be paired with Chien Pao's Sword of Ruin to just absolutely try to beat down my opponent's Pokemon as much as possible. I don't know of a better way to phrase that. But we were running Max EV spread on this Pokemon as well with the Adamant nature. Yeah. I'm much more of a max kind of guy. I only typically fray from that on the bulkier, more defensive Pokemon. Or if my friend is like, "Nolan, no, you need to be EV to live this thing right here," I'm just like, okay, man, okay. But I figured, just priority itself and natural like outspeeding things isn't going to always be enough in order to win speed controls if my opponent has an opposing like Whimsicott or Tornadus, anything with Prankster for speed control. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna add Tornadus on it with Covert Cloak. Covert Cloak protects me from fake outs, which I have Terraghost, Chien-Pao to kind of be immune from that. And then, but yeah, so it's Terra Dark for Terra Dark to be immune to opposing Tornadus with Prankster Taunt, or Whimsicott with Encore Prankster, because Dark types are immune to Prankster status conditions. That's why we also have, as you can see, I have a lot bulkier EV spread. Not all the EVs are shown, but I'll put a link in the description to the PokePaste so you can see the full extent for EV spread. But I'm very physically defensive, and that was big for the opposing Tornadus Urshifu matchups, which happened quite a bit in practice. We have Bleak Wind Storm, Taunt. Taunt was mainly for Amoonguss or for Tornadus with Sunny Day that were slower than me. And then I have Rain Dance, because Rain, as you will see later, I'll talk about that in a second. And then we had Tailwind for speed control. So with Rain Dance was good. It's a little bit of anti-synergy with Entei, but Entei mainly you're clicking extreme speed, and if you're clicking a fire move, you just don't click Rain Dance. I mean, it's pretty simple as that. But yeah, you have Rain Dance on Tornadus, and so that boosts up my Terra Water Surging Strikes from Urshifu Rapid Strike. And I was like, you know what? I need a Pokemon that resists water, because I mean I have Urshifu right now, but I need like a better Pokemon. And so I thought, boom, here we go. Here's our Chaladon. Our Chaladon makes good use of the rain, and with its ability Stamina. If I get Surging Strikes into me, then an opposing Urshifu cannot kill me then with a close combat, because I am like +3 in defense, which is very nice. And we also have Terra-type Grass for opposing Amoonguss, as well as to live an Earth Power or Sandsear Storm from a Landorus. And then we have Electro Shot, Draco Meteor, Snarl, and Body Press. We don't have a Steel-type move, because the only Pokemon that you really click it into in my testing is Fluttermane. And Fluttermane, it's like, oh, I would rather click Snarl than a Steel-type move into Fluttermane to lower it, because I have other means of defeating Fluttermane. So I opted out of a Steel-type move, and for Snarl, I was always going to have Body Press on the set. That was not a question to me on whether or not. And once again, the rest of the EVs will be in the description below, and as you can see, we are Assault Vest to boost our special defensive stat up. Our next Pokemon this is our last Pokemon to make use of the rain, as well as be another buffer for Amoonguss, because Amoonguss Rage Powder, I had, despite my team being very on paper good against it, if my opponent knows how to position, it can become quite bothersome. But we have Ogerpon Wellspring with obviously the Wellspring Mask to make it the water type. Its ability is Water Absorb, which is good into Surging Strikes, as well as we have Ivy Cudgel, Follow Me, Spiky Shield, and then I was debating between Hornleech or Woodhammer, and overall I decided I'd rather have Woodhammer on Ogerpon Wellspring, because I felt like the Hornleech healing was not like substantial enough for it to matter, and then Woodhammer also lets you, I had EV'd for it, which is why I'm 148 attack. I had EV for it, so that way it would be able to one-shot Fluttermane, as well as one-shot Urshifu Rapid Strike, which Hornleech does not either way, and then Ivy Cudgel, unless you Terra, would not kill Fluttermane that way. So yeah, that's my team. I had done really good in practice with it. I had got top 500 on the Reg F Best of 3 ladder on Pokemon Showdown, and I was like, okay, I feel prepared for the most part. I haven't got, my friends were busy in like the 2 weeks leading up to Houston, which was whenever I was making the team, so I did not have much of a chance to, as much as I would have liked to, I was not as prepared for certain matchups just because I didn't have anyone to practice said matchups with. I did like a couple here and there, but nothing like too like intensive. So I was a little bit underprepared, but anyway, enough of that. Let's go on to my opponent's team. So my opponent had for their team the same team that they've been running for quite a while. They have Incineroar, Fluttermane, Raging Bolt, Landorus, Ogerpon, and Urshifu. It's a balanced team. And as you can see, you have Safety Goggles Incineroar with Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Parting Shot, Fake Out. Honestly, the standard Incineroar set, or I say it's the standard Incineroar set. You can also see Safety Goggles or Citrus Berry on it sometimes, but overall, the more standard Incineroar set. Next up, we have Fluttermane, and the Fluttermane is Terra Fairy to get a boost in its Moonblast. Its booster energy, I believe it was booster energy speed, with Moonblast, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave. Icy Wind and Thunder Wave obviously for speed control, Icy Wind for Pokemon like Landorus, and Thunder Wave for other Pokemon that they needed to get their speed stat down by 2. Then we also have Taunt for Pokemon like Amoonguss or Follow Me Ogerpon. Then we have Raging Bolt. It's Assault Vest, Terra Electric to make more use of its Thunderbolts, especially Thunderclaps and Electrowebs. It also has Dragon Pulse for a Dragon-type move to hit your opponent. Their fourth Pokemon was Landorus Incarnate with Life Orb, Steel, Sheer Force, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, Sandsear, Storm, and Protect. Pretty much the standard Landorus moveset you see, except it's Terra Steel instead of Terra Poison that you see on a lot of them. Then we have the standard Ogerpon Wellspring with Horn Leech, Ivy Cudgel, Follow Me, Spiky Shield. That's just standard Ogerpon Wellspring. And then the final Pokemon, we have Urshifu Single Strike. Notably, it was Focus Sash and not Choice Band. It was also Terra Dark, so it was Close Combat, Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, and Detect. Kind of the standard set you see for this Focus Sash Terra Dark set. So yeah, that was my opponent's team. He's used it for great success in the past couple regionals. And yeah, let's get on to the battles. Okay, so in game 1, I have my notes right here for what I did, so that way y'all have a more you have a better idea of what happened than me just relying on my memory. So my lead for this game was I led Tornadus and Entei, and they led their Ogerpon and Raging Bolt. On turn number 1, we both Terrastalized at the same time. They Terra'd their Ogerpon Wellspring into water, and I Terra'd my Entei into normal because I ripped a Terra normal E-Speed into their into their Raging Bolt, I believe, as they Terrastalized into water, and I set up a Tailwind. Then they obliterated my Tornadus with a Thunderbolt, I believe it was, and then the next turn, I swapped in my Qianpao for my dead Tornadus and doubled into their Ogerpon to kill it. After that, I then killed their Raging Bolt, so I was up 3 Pokemon to their 2. But then they sent in their Fluttermane as well as their Urshifu Single Strike, and their Urshifu Single Strike and their Fluttermane just were able to, the combo between the two of them, were able to kill my Qianpao next, as well as afterwards my Urshifu Rapid Strike, and then they were able to kill my Entei. My Entei, I believe I swapped out at one point because I needed to get off of E-Speed because they had their Fluttermane in the back just would have won them the game. I believe that's what happened. But yeah, so that was game number 1. Game number 1, I also had a moment where I had my Tailwind up, and my Urshifu and Entei were the last 2 Pokemon that were left. Actually, I believe I was locked into E-Speed on Entei and had my Urshifu Rapid Strike on the field next to it, and I was like, okay, I win if my Surging Strikes kills their Fluttermane, but obviously Geo has EV'd his Fluttermane to survive a Surging Strikes from an Adamant, whatever my guy is, Urshifu, and I obviously, having, as I said earlier, I did not have as much testing into certain matchups and teams that I had wanted to. I did not know that, so I was just hoping, and my hope was nullified because, as you can see, I lost the first game because if Surging Strikes had killed the Fluttermane, which it does kill some Fluttermanes, not bulky ones like Geo's was, Urshifu could have killed their Flutter Mane, and then 2 E-Speeds would have just killed their Wicked Blow, or that was a weird way to call that. Urshifu Single Strike. Sorry, my brain is not braining right now. So for game number 2, Geo blew his load early again and immediately terastallized Raging Bolt, turn number 1, into a Electric type, obviously to get rid of the weakness from my Ice Spinner on Chien-Pao. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, he did not. He thought I was going to set up Tailwind again, because that's what I did the last time, and he went for, I believe it was Electro Web and Close Combat into my Chien-Pao, and I went for Ice Spinner into his Raging Bolt and Bleak Wind Storm, and Bleak Wind Storm connected on both. Ice Spinner connected on the Raging Bolt, but unfortunately I lost my Raging Bolt on that turn. But I still had my Tornadus alive, and it was all good. And my Tornadus, I believe, outsped his Urshifu Single Strike, which is important to note, because after my Chien-Pao died, I sent in my Entei. Now my Entei, I Flare Blitzed his, I believe I Flare Blitzed his Raging Bolt, which, as you can see, Raging Bolt is the next Pokemon to go down. Actually, I believe I Sacred Fired his Raging Bolt, because Raging Bolt was the next Pokemon to go down. And then I Bleak Wind Stormed, but unfortunately, Bleak Wind Stormed, which if this had connected, would have won me the game. Bleak Wind Storm unfortunately missed his Urshifu Single Strike and killed my Entei. Otherwise, Entei would have been alive for the next turn, which would have been absolutely massive. So therefore, I had my Tornadus and Ogerpon Wellspring in the back against his Single Strike, Flutter Mane, and Ogerpon Wellspring, his own Ogerpon Wellspring. I believe I set up Tailwind, and then my Tornadus was the next Pokemon to go down, followed closely by his Urshifu, and then it was my Ogerpon Wellspring versus his Flutter Mane and Ogerpon Wellspring. Everything left had full health, and unfortunately, my Ogerpon Wellspring was just not enough to clutch up the game. And I Terra Watered because his Ogerpon had Horn Leech, and so my hope was that an Ivy Cudgel crit into Flutter Mane would kill it. I actually don't think I set up Tailwind. I think I Bleak Wind Storm, so it was his Flutter Mane was faster, and then his own Ogerpon Wellspring was also, I think his Ogerpon Wellspring I think was slower, but Moonblast followed by Horn Leech, that double up was not enough, or was too much for my Ogerpon to bear, which was unfortunate, and so therefore my Ogerpon Wellspring went down and lost the game. And yeah, so that was. Now I'm gonna make me big now because this is the end of the video. Unfortunately, I was not able to defeat Geo. I was unable to defeat Geo. I was close. I got unfortunate in a couple areas, but hey, that's Pokemon. I should not have put myself in those positions where I lost due to luck. And yeah, overall, I want to battle Geo again because I know that I can beat him. That might be a little arrogant for me to say, but I know. And you know what? This next Orlando is Regulation I. And Regulation I it's Reg I, which is the format of Worlds last year, which is what Geo won. But hey, Geo, I'm coming for you.